Everyone at home watching Wide Bay ITV. Big day happening today, of course, the last ever round of the Trojan in memory of the late great Larry Martin. So the last ever today. We've got all the classes, we've got all the kids, we've got the 850cc's, the 25s, we've got all the inboards, the outboards, the big race of the day other than the Trojan series will be the Dominic, the King of the River. That's our biggest race of today. Water conditions perfect, top temperature around about 22 degrees. We may have a shower or two throughout the day, but weather conditions not too bad here at the moment, Dave. Highlight of yesterday, just before we move into that, we had an incident out on the course with a couple of the kids. You might want to report on that.
Yeah, so pleased to report that they did go off to hospital for observation for a while, but my understanding is that they're out and they're okay. A little bit bruised and battered, but they're all good. So.
Okay. Yeah, the boys were taken to hospital, X-rays and all, and they were back within an hour or so. So great to see that. Trojan Series 6 litres absolutely screamed their heads off. James Clark was the standout driver yesterday. From what I understand, he's up the pointy end of the points. Of course, they've got to drop 3 of their point scoring rounds. Races, beg your pardon, and so the final points will be known later this afternoon. Great to see Troy Marlin here in the big yellow beast of madness. Of course, that would be one of the boats, I would imagine, contesting the Dominic McLaughlin King of the River. Some of our racing in our minor club, what we call our minor classes, 25 horsepower 850cc and the like, was outstanding yesterday. It was virtually dictated to by, what poles you had. Some of the guys were saying that coming out of one, they took the race out, they were out of 6 the next, and that's where they finished. So a lot of it's just based on their ability and the like. Dave, we're looking for a fabulous day. We can see some of our Formula tunnels entering the ramp area now, and of course tonight we've got the big end of season presentation for the Trojan at one of our great sponsors venue, the Sugarland Tavern.
Thanks, Craig. And just before we sign off and get down to business, we can see all of the crew boats taking into place. Our inboard A's who'll start us off this morning where we left off yesterday afternoon, heading down to the ramp. So we are due to get underway with racing in a couple of minutes. But just before we do that, quick shout out, of course, our 2 major sponsors for this weekend, the Smileys Group Aviation and NZ Bundaberg. And of course, folks, if you're actually here in Bundaberg, why not come out? Whilst it's great if you're watching the ITV stream, why not come down here to Sandy Hook and enjoy some great racing in person? There's food and coffee here, and also Smileys Group Aviation have their helicopter here where you can take advantage of a joyride and get the best view of Bundaberg that you possibly can. So thanks very much, and we'll sign off, Craig, on that note and get to where we need to be and be ready to start racing in a couple of minutes' time.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So we've looks like we've dropped the David Parker entry, but it's a 2 Aussie composite boats. Looks like the father and son team of Craig Spicer on the inside. Look at Joel Downs right down the outside. It's literally 3 abreast, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Spicer coming up on the outside of his son Craig, leading out of Brisbane Marine into NZ Bundaberg top turn. Oh, we've had an issue here. We've had an issue. Certainly looked like the Downs machine may have gone straight over the top here. So we'll need the Joel Downs trailer to the ramp immediately, thank you. And only those people required on the ramp, please. Only those people required on the ramp, thank you.
Alrighty, I've just heard from the officer of the day that so we won't continue that race, and the couple of unlimiteds who were due to go next aren't ready to go yet. So once we get everyone back in place, if we can get started again, we'll go straight to the next round, which means juniors, J2 and J3 will be our next race. So we'll give you a little bit of time to get those boats ready to go. So we're going to skip over the unlimited race for now because a couple of them aren't quite ready to go, and we'll go straight to our next round of heats with juniors. So J2 juniors, you'll be the next race as soon as you can get ready. Okay, so the three competitors on the list for juniors J2 are Little Lucifer with Lily Theodolu driving, Bad Habit with Xander Law driving, and our junior development boat is being driven by Chase Smiley. So that's our three J2 junior competitors all out there. So we'll have them running around 3 laps of the short course in just a moment.
We did hear Dave mention the junior development boat to be driven by Chase Smiley. We can't see that on the water. We can see, there it is. Thank you to Kirsten and Emma on the official table, picking the little development boat up. Of course, Chase, the younger sibling, Bella. We'll see Bella out in the More Madness boat in the J3 class. So we see.
Okay, so just heard from the officer of the day. We'll have the J2 race now. We'll also run the junior J3 next, and then we'll see whether those unlimited inboards are ready to go at that stage.
So we did see Xander Law. He had some. He took most of the victories yesterday. We saw Lily Theodolu. She took the early lead in all the races, and Xander, of course, Xander, the son of David Law, driver of Homewrecker. Xander inevitably found that inside gap with less than a lap to go. So our pole positions, out of one is Xander Law. In the centre of the pack, the light blue boat there of Lily Theodolu. And on the outside closest to us is Chase Smiley. So on the Smiley group of companies, front straight first time. Lily, as she has done in all the races yesterday, she's gone to that early lead. So she'll have to try and close some of these corners down. You see Xander coming right up on the inside once again. So Lily might just have to get in a little bit tighter, but Xander, no, he's gone right along the inside and taken the lead now. So it's going to make it very, very hard for Lily to get up. Is she going to go on the cutback? She's trying to. Just hitting the wash of the lead boat. So both our 1 and 2 boats are on the Smiley Group of Companies front straight. Of course, Chase Smiley in the little 8 horsepower. And 6 horsepower, beg your pardon. Just coming around the Bundaberg NZ top turn. So Xander Law has opened up quite a gap now over Lily. Back in third is Chase. Lovely corner there. Xander in bad habits. There's a lovely corner there. The lead in and lead out was perfect. See the yellow flag being displayed to our lead 2 drivers, of course Xander Law and Lily Theodolou. Xander really opening up the pack here. So Xander taking the Whitewater Marine checkered flag, race 1 on Sunday. It's been a great weekend for young Xander already. Lily just coming out of NZ of Bundaberg, the top turn, onto the Smiley Group of Companies front straight, taking second. And home in third will be Chase Smiley in the little junior development boat.
Thanks, Craig. So we'll have these juniors down here in a moment. So I think who we've got in this field, we'll have Titan with Isla White driving, Little Hole Shot, Fletcher Donnelly driving that one. Tori Jane Racing, driven by Tori Jane Wood. The yellow boat More Madness with Bella Smiley driving. Lost Identity, driven by Noah Cosson, and Next Gen Marine Junior with Leilani Borg driving that one. So we'll see them down here in a moment for a start. All right, and with the best of the start there, probably Tori Jane in the Tori Jane racing boat, but we'll see how they work things out coming through that first NZ turn. So, and I think that'll be actually Noah, Lost Identity, heading off with the early lead, and then the yellow boat, you've got Bella in More Madness and Isla in Titan in third there. Then back to Little Hole Shot and Next Gen Marine. Looks like we've got one boat, so Tori Jane, it looks like she's broken down on that first corner there. She's well out of the way at the moment, so we'll keep racing. So 1 lap of 3 done now, and Lost Identity, Noah Cosson first at the moment. Bella Smiley in More Madness, Titan, Little Hole Shot, and Next Gen Marine Junior. They're all pretty evenly spaced out at the moment, so we'll see in another lap whether anyone's going to challenge for any of the other positions. But at the meantime, at the halfway mark with 1.5 laps of 3 done, Noah Cosson in Lost Identity pretty well comfortable out in front at the moment, and as is Bella Smiley in More Madness in second. At the back there we can see Little Hole Shot moving up on Titan now, as is Next Gen Marine not too far away, so there could be a challenge there for third in a moment. But meanwhile, just over half a lap to go now for Noah Cosson in Lost Identity. Bella in More Madness, still comfortably in second, and then looks like Little Hole Shot is actually challenging Titan there for third place at the present time. Meanwhile, about to round the final turn and take the checkered flag will be Lost Identity, driven by Noah Cossin. Coming through in second, More Madness with Bella Smiley driving. One turn to go for the other three boats. And Titan, nice run on the inside, gets ahead of Little Hole Shot. Little Hole Shot coming back now though, and it's going to be dead even. Pretty close across the line there, and I'd have to say there wouldn't be any more than 30 centimetres in it. Little Hole Shot just got there. So Fletcher Donnelly by, I reckon, 20 or 30 centimetres over Titan, and then Next Gen Marine coming in after that. So pretty good racing by our juniors there today. So our juniors at J3. So I'm just going to check on where we're at next with our officer of the day. So a little bit of a change of program here, but I'll get back to you in a moment and let you know what's next. Okay, so after these Unlimiteds have run, then we'll be back to normal race order with our 850cc's. So after this Unlimited race, back to normal race order with 850cc's. About to come round for the checkered flag now, and that will be the winner of this inboard race. Fury across the line.
So our first Unlimited race of the Sunday, day 2, Corey Marlin, the 16-year-old, I said it right, 16 years of age. He took out the wagon at the St George Powerboat Club last weekend, youngest ever to attain the honour in winning the prestigious 5.2 litre wagon trophy for 2024. Home in second was the South Australian from Adelaide, of course, Mark Ebenrider.
All right, so this 850cc race about to come on down for a start. 850cc is brought to us by Brisbane Marine. Thank you to the team for their support. Alrighty, coming out of that first turn there, so I can see, looks like the two Brisbane Marine boats together. So Jitterbug and Tennis Racket, little bit back then, so Supernaut in amongst there as well, and then Next Gen Marine and Warrior. So we'll get a better look at them down the front straight. Some of these 850s need a good look at them to tell them apart. They look pretty similar, but we'll have a good look when they come down past the front straight here. 4 laps this 850cc race. So that's going to be Tennis Racket in the front there at the present time, and then Supernaut coming down the outside, Jitterbug, Next Gen Marine and a Warrior coming in 5th at the present time. So just meanwhile down the back there, so Supernaut pretty quick around the outside and taking over second place from Jitterbug there now. Tennis Racket still out in front at the moment, sitting off the tail there. Next Gen Marine a little bit back in 4th, and then Warrior back in 5th. So this lap, as we said, this race, as we said, is 4 laps. So we're not even quite at the halfway mark there, and those first 3 pretty close together at the moment. Alrighty, so as we make our way down past the start-finish line, so we're at the halfway mark in this one, and looks like it's going to be Supernaut down the outside, overtaking Tennis Racket and Jitterbug, but looks like Tennis Racket has probably got the better run into that corner. Meanwhile, Next Gen Marine just off the back of them in 4th place at the moment. So as they round that corner, it's actually Jitterbug taking over the lead now, but Tennis Racket and Supernaut right there. In fact, Supernaut taking over the lead again on that outside run. Meanwhile, Next Gen Marine still back in 4th and Warrior in 5th. So pretty tight racing between those first 3 in this 850cc race. The 2 Brisbane Marine entries, Jitterbug and Tennis Racket, and Luke Birmingham there in Supernaut, getting right in amongst it in our 850cc race here this morning at Bundaberg Powerboat Club. So the yellow flag's up. Once they go past the start-finish line, they'll have 1 lap to go now. And at this stage, so it looks like that's going to be Supernaut in the lead. Now Jitterbug in second as they go across, Tennis Racket 3rd, and Next Gen Marine just slowly eating away at that gap there as well. Alright, so down the back straight, Jitterbug takes over the lead, but Supernaut's got the speed and takes it straight back again. Tennis Racket dropped off away from those two a little bit now, back in 3rd. So at the front between Jitterbug and Supernaut at the moment. So Jitterbug out of those turns just does seem to have the speed against Supernaut, but then Supernaut has the speed down the straight. So this will be interesting coming down to the start-finish line. So with a couple of 100 metres to go as they head for home now, looks like Supernaut's going to come home strong down the outside. Luke Birmingham It'll be Supernaut, Jitterbug, Tennis Racket, Next Gen Marine, and then Warrior will come home in 5th. All right, we've got a blue flag for our restricted combo race, blue flag.
So ladies and gentlemen, coming down onto the Smiley group of companies, front straight, we see a white flag aloft our powerboat. Once that goes down, our race commences and the flag is down. Another good start here from Eglinton on the outside and Birmingham on the inside in Shogun. Stress in third and Screwed and Glued back in fourth. So coming up 2 ends out of Bundaberg, bottom turn. Birmingham leads out Eglinton. Has she lost the compass? No, she hasn't. She comes back on the outside, but she loses, well, 2 positions now. The 2 little Queensland skiffs coming up on the inside, but Eglinton said, no, you're not. She charges down the outside on the Brisbane Marine back straight. So she does reclaim 2nd place. But in the meantime, Tom Birmingham has said ta-da, goodbye. He heads around the NZ Bundaberg, top turn onto the Smiley group of companies front straight. So Birmingham, he had 2 out of 3 wins yesterday. The middle race he had some problems, but all those problems have been sorted today. Eglinton currently in 2nd. Leon Evans back in 3rd. You can see Hines starting to make a bit of a charge on Evans in 3rd place. Two years ago, Eglinton, she was sitting at the official table as the secretary of the club. She's now behind the wheel of Silence in 2nd place. But the boat's about to receive the yellow flag and 1 to go. Tommy Birmingham, driver of Shogun. He accepts the yellow flag, 1 to go on the Smiley group of companies front straight. So you see Birmingham on the Brisbane Marine back straight. It's his race to lose. He shouldn't lose from here. We've got a very, very wide lead in and lead out, boys, up at the top end of the course. So Birmingham on the Smiley group of companies. Front straight, final time and accepting the Whitewater Marine checkered flag. Tommy Birmingham, he takes the win over Kathy Eglinton, home in 2nd in Silence. 3rd going to Leon Evans in Stress, and just coming onto the front straight, of course, Todd Hines in Screwed and Glued. We have a white flag, ladies and gentlemen. We can just hear the radios of some of our officials going off. So Johnny French, our officer of the day, giving our powerboat the A-OK to bring our 4 to 5 starters down on the course. We may have a late scratching here. I did only see 4 boats go up to the top end. I may have blinked and missed one of them. We're due to have Titan, Zach Sadley out of 1, Eureka, Katie Jenner out of 2, beg your pardon, Little Maniac, Jason Chiswell out of 3, out of 4, Extreme Marine, Josh Chiswell, of course, son of Jace, and just winging it, Caden Sutherland out of 5. Thank you very much. Kirsten Clements. Confirmation there are 5 starters, and we do have a white flag down. So looks like Little Maniac towards the middle of the course. May have its nose in front. No, it doesn't. Out of pole 2 and now pole 1. You can see Titan right along the inside from Eureka, the little lady racer from Mackay, Katie Jenner. 3-1. Will it work? Yes, it does. Little Maniac, Jason Chiswell has had to remain very wide indeed. But Titan, this, a multi-state winner. Boy from Adelaide, South Australia, 2,300 kilometres to get here, and then obviously on the way home tomorrow the same amount. So he leads out. Katie Jenner in, Eureka in second. Little Maniac back in third. Jason Chiswell, beg your pardon. Josh, his son, back in fourth in Extreme Marine. And just winging it, Caden Sutherland back in fifth. So boats coming around the NZ at Bundaberg. Top turn. He really enjoys the inside line. Here is young Zach Sadley. Of course, his dad, Big Dave Sadley, one of our very good blown alcohol displacement drivers. So Sadley on the Smiley Griffith Company's front straight. Stewart leads out from Jenner. Chiswell Senior, Chiswell Junior. And not sure Caden Sutherland, way down on horsepower here. He's well back in 5th place. So on the Brisbane Marine back straight, sadly, he's opened up that lead over Jenner, who's done a similar job on 3rd place getter. And a similar gap back to 4th, and a nice long gap back to Caden. He may be pulling out of the race. Normally the racing a lot closer here, but boats coming up to receive the yellow flag. 1 to go. Look at Titan sitting beautifully on the water. As we said, a multi-state champion. He holds a number of records, the young fella. So Zach going around the NZ at Bundaberg, bottom turn. Now on the Brisbane Marine back straight. Katie having a bit of a dipsy doodle there, going into Extreme, into NZ at Bundaberg, the bottom corner there. Wonderful young driver, Katie. She brings it back to terra firma, third still. Josh, Jason Chiswell into Little Maniac. Extreme Marine, Josh Chiswell back in 4th. And Caden, he's just coming down the front straight now. But obviously that boat has got an issue. Normally Caden a lot faster than what we're seeing on the water. So coming up to receive the Whitewater Marine checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen. Warm those hands and show your appreciation towards Zach Sadley, all the way from Adelaide, South Australia, winning Group 1 of our 25 horsepower. Second place will go to the little lady racer, driver of Eureka, Katie Jenner. Little Maniac, Jace Chiswell. His son, Joshy Chiswell, home in 4th in Extreme Marine, and home in 5th will be just winging it, Caden Sutherland. Okay, Dave Wise, we've got Heat 1 for Sunday of the Trojan. Out of 1 will be Rastus, Steve Rarity. Out of 2, Impulse, Brendan Mason. So the 2 boats from Raymond Terrace Aquatic Club go the Terrace. They're out of 1 and 2 in Heat 1. Out of 3, Tough Enough from Adelaide, South Australia, James Clark. Out of 4, Rooters, also from Adelaide, South Australia, Mark Ebenruder. And out of 5, Sig Puppy, the 16-year-old from the Goldie, from the Gold Coast, Corey Marlin. He won the wagon with a 5 .2 litre engine last weekend at the St George Powerboat Club. Got the same power plant here, running up against some of the boats with the big 6 litres in them. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Heat 1 for today, Sunday. The Trojan, the last time this series will be run. The boat just passing us here on the Smiley's Group of Companies front straight. Toughen up, of course, young James Clark, son of the legendary Dave Clark. We believe he may be the leader in points, but we won't know till later in the day because some of our drivers need to drop their worst 3 races, so we're not going to know till later on who is going to take home the 2024 Trojan Trophy, and this will be the last time it's run. Let's not forget the beautiful Liberty here that's paraded around Australia, the ex-race boat of the late great Brian McCosker. On display, a very big thank you to Mark Hansen, Sonia Smith and all the crew for the provision of Liberty once again this weekend. Caps on sale. So see Mark or Sonia. $15, you don't get it any cheaper. Quality hats and the legendary Brian McCosker, the driver of Liberty. Caps on sale, $15. We'll interview all the crew at lunchtime when we get a break. So once again, a very big thank you to Mark and Sonia for the provision of Liberty for the weekend. This boat taken to a lot of boat meetings, powerboat meetings, car shows, you name it. Johnny French, officer of the day, just about to give the white flag instruction to our pole boat. So the 2 guys from the Raymond Terrace Aquatic Club on the inside 2 poles, of course, Rasta Steve Rarity and Impulse Brendan Mason. Go the Terrace. James Clark out of 3. Mark Evanreuter out of 4. The 2 South Aussies. And then on the outside, the sole Queenslander, Corey Marlin. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your seats. Here we go. Flag down. What a wonderful start by all 5 boats. James Clark had a bit of a moment. Corey Marlin goes the early lead. He's on the outside, however. He'll have to go right round the outside. Brendan Mason takes the early lead from Steve Rarity. Shows the Terrace at 1-2. James Clark, he's moved up into 3rd. Charging on Rarity in 2nd. Marlin's back to 4th, and Ebenreuter back in 5th on the Smiley Group of Companies. Front straight next time around. Brendan Mason Impulse. He leads out from Rarity and right down the outside. James Clark. 6th Bobby, Corey Marlin and Ebenreuter back in 5th. Look at this battle for the 2nd and 3rd. Clark's gone right round the outside to just pump Rarity. Rarity will have that good inside real estate, however, coming into NZ Bundaberg. Great corner by the boats in 2nd and 3rd. Rarity comes back on the inside. heat one of the Trojan. Second place, James Clark. In Tubman of Steve Rarity. He's in third in Rastus. Corey Marlin in fourth. In Sick Puppy. Ritters, Mark Ebenruder back in fifth. Wow. Holy moly. That first corner. Marlin came out at 5. He went to that early lead, but he had to travel further than Burke and Wills. And courtesy of those inside poles, it was the boys from the Raymond Terrace Aquatic Club. It was Mason and Rarity that went to the early lead. James Clark hunted Rarity down and took second. Unfortunately, Corey moved back to fourth. He had to travel the long way round. Ladies and gentlemen, warm those hands, please. Some wonderful drivers and boats on the water. What a wonderful result for Brendan Mason, driver of Impulse. Dave Wise, what a race.
Thanks, Craig. So pretty amazing, awesome stuff there from those guys in that Trojan Cup.
So we got Outboard C on the water. Look at the Smiley helicopter. What a view they've got. So Blue Balls goes to the early lead. Looks like the Carandrews boat has gone to the lead over Blue Balls. The Fat Chance boat of Scott Carandrews leads out from Blue Balls. Third to Dave Cassell and Sonic. Dean McLaughlin back in fourth. And of course the young fella Reuben White in fifth place. Dave Wise, these boats have been very competitive all weekend.
Yes, definitely, mate. No one in particular dominating this class, and it's always been great racing in this category. So at the moment, though, they're Fat Chance and Blue Balls out in front. Sonic, who was pretty quick yesterday as well, out in front there at the moment, and Dean McLaughlin in Bundy on down there, and Tennessee Titan Reuben White. Meanwhile, Blue Balls down that back straight there has moved up a little bit, but Fat Chance is gone, not having any of that, and opened up that gap a little bit again. As they come around that top 10, they're now into the Smiley's front straight. So it's going to be pretty close across the start-finish line as they cross the yellow flag. So one lap to go in this one. And if it's this close as they come around again next lap, it'll be very interesting. So Blue Balls just nudging in front of Fat Chance as they cross the start-finish line there. But I dare say the white boat will briefly take over the lead again coming out of that corner, but it was only briefly as I say that. So Blue Balls opened up a clear lead pretty quick through that corner that time, the NZ corner, and has just said, no, I'm out of here, and opened up a pretty big lead. So Fat Chance though in second, Sonic all alone in third, and Bundy on, Dean McLaughlin sitting back there in fourth. So as he rounds the turn and heads for home, it's going to be Dan Gamble in Blue Balls taking the win in this Outboard C race. Scott Carandrews in Fat Chance second. Dave Cassell, Sonic in third. Dean McLaughlin in Bundy on coming in fourth, and it'll be Reuben White in Tennessee Titan in fifth. That Outboard C race, thanks to the White family from Whitewater Marine for sponsoring that one. It's a specialised service centre for Yamaha and E-Tech outboards on the Gold Coast. But So check them out at whitewatermarine.com.au. Okay, so it's a blue flag for the 25 horsepower Heat 2, a blue flag. Right, so I've got a field of 6 for this one, and they are Coops Science Racing, driven by Steve Cooper. Siren, driven by Steph Cooper. More Time Out, driven by Scott Trainer. Mental Health, with Peter Bartz driving. Kamikaze, driven by Ben Ashby. And Slingshot, with Hugo Brackmanis driving. Okay, so we're underway in Heat 2 of the 25 horsepower race here. So not too bad across the line there, so pretty hard to pick a leader at the present time. So let's see how we go as we come out of that first turn there. And on the inside pole, it's going to be Slingshot, Hugo Brackmanis with the early lead. Steve Cooper in Coop Science Racing in second, and that'll be Steph Cooper in Siren third. And so the colourful boat there is More Time Out. Just in front of him, Kamikaze. And then Mental Health. So 3 laps this 25 horsepower race, and at the moment as they come out of that turn up there onto the Smileys straight, and it's going to be the green boat Slingshot out in front, still Coop Science Racing in second, but so it looks like it might be Kamikaze coming down around the outside of all of them pretty quickly. And so just nudging on third there, that'll be Kamikaze, then Siren, More Time Out, and Mental Health. So as they complete half of that lap, so 1.5 laps to go, and it looks like it'll be Kamikaze moving into second place now over Coop Science Racing. Meanwhile at the back, so a little bit of a duel between Siren and More Time Out. Peter Bartz in Mental Health sitting back there in fifth, but not too far away from the rest of the field at this stage. But at the front though, the green boat Slingshot has opened up a little bit of a lead. That'll be Kamikaze quite clearly in second now from Coop Science Racing. As we come down to the start-finish line, so yellow flag is up, 1 lap to go in this one once they cross the start-finish line, and you can see they're pretty evenly spaced out, these first few boats at the moment. So Slingshot still comfortably in first, Kamikaze comfortably in second now, Coop Science Racing in third. Steph Cooper in Siren, she's had a bit of a slower lap last lap, but she's recovered well and now possibly about to challenge for third place. And Scott Trainer in More Time Out, not too far away either. So down that back straight, Slingshot, looks like Kamikaze did close that gap momentarily, but Slingshot off again, well out in front at the moment. Kamikaze sitting alone in second. Coop Science Racing and More Time Out. Scott Trainer has moved up there into fourth, looking to challenge for third place now. So I think that's where, as they come down to the start-finish line, it's where the race will be for that third position at this stage. But as they come around there, so Slingshot, the green boat, cleanly out of that corner. So just the length of the Smiley straight to go, and the checkered flag awaits for Slingshot. Looks like somebody's been a bit messy in that corner there, so might have been Siren, I think, Steph Cooper. So Slingshot will take the win in this one. Kamikaze in second. More Time Out looking to mount a challenge, but it will be Steve Cooper in Coop Science Racing taking third. Scott Trainer, More Time Out fourth. Peter Bartz, Mental Health in fifth, and then Steph Cooper in Siren in fifth.
So it looks like inboard B is our next race set for decision. We can see the Let It Ride boat sitting just off the ramp there. Driver this morning is Mark Eglinton. Mark, the driver of Let It Ride. Out of pole 1 will be Hot Lemon, Rod Peterson. Of course, Rod Peterson, the owner of NZ at Bundaberg, one of our prime sponsors this weekend. So Brent Fletcher, driver of Irritation, out of 3. Misfire 2, the boss here at the Bundaberg Powerboat Club, Mr. Wayne Montgomery. He drives Misfire 2 out of 4. And out of 5, Steve Mallet, driver of Send It. Very impressive yesterday. Coming up at the start, ladies and gentlemen, inboard B. There's been tremendous racing all weekend so far. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Flag down. We've got a boat that's really missed the start here, but Rod Peterson in Hot Lemon, he's gone to an early. Send it right down the outside, Steve Mallet. Mallet right on the outside. But courtesy of the Inside Real Estate, Rod Peterson in Hot Lemon takes an early lead. Let It Ride in second, Send It in third, followed by Misfire 2. Unfortunately, Irritation very slowly on the front straight. He's heading for the ramp, so the boat got a problem. Look at this battle for first and second coming down to the Smiley Group of Companies front straight. On the inside, Rod Peterson, he leads out, but on the outside, Let It Ride, Mark Eglinton. Steve Mallet, driver of Send It in third. Misfire 2, Wayne Montgomery in 4th place. So boats once again on the Brisbane Marine back straight. And Peterson's really opened up a gap now over Eglinton. Eglinton's mirrors would be absolutely chock-a-block with the boat Send It. The driver there, of course, Steve Mallet. Misfire 2, Wayne Montgomery in 4th. Yellow flag being displayed to our drivers. 1 to go on the Smiley Group of Companies front straight. So it's a race for Peterson to lose here. He's on the Brisbane Marine back straight for the final time, coming up to the NZ at Bundaberg. Top turn, of course, Rod is the owner of NZ at Bundaberg. So he comes out of his own corner and on to the Smiley Group of Companies front straight. Rod Peterson taking out the Whitewater Marine checkered flag. A really good solid drive. From Mark Eglinton, Let It Ride. Send It. Steve Mallet home in third and Misfire 2. Wayne Montgomery home in 4th place. Got someone very special here this weekend. Haven't seen him for a number of years. He's up here for the Trojan reunion. We've got a lot of oldies up here. Well, I'll say that in a nice fashion, but a lot of old people up here supporting Carol Martin. Barry Morris, a very big welcome to you, mate. And we haven't seen you around the traps for a while. Great to be back.
Yes, it is. Yeah, a lot of memories here on the people that we're meeting and the boats and what they're doing, and yeah, getting very interesting. So
Of course, a lot of people out there will remember you as the driver of the big blown alcohol displacement boat Maniac.
Yeah, I was one of the drivers, and Johnny Cross, and we travelled the countryside, had our fun, but we never came to this track. I don't think we were running around up here north of Queensland. So.
Well, the boat certainly did in the hands of Johnny Cross, but the last, just going back to the reason you're here, last ever round of the Trojan, a lot of special memories, of Larry Martin.
Yeah, Larry and I are, he convinced me to move to Queensland, and on the last weekend is when the incident happened, and I was left mortified, but that's part of boat racing, but very good times earlier in the piece, but over in America and a few other tracks we went to, so yes.
We've seen, the level of safety is improved markedly.
Yes, I love the cells. We never had cells back in our day. Well, we did, they were up and coming, but I wish we all had cells back in those days, and there would have been a lot more of us around. So
the 6 litres we've seen on the water today, they're bloody quick.
Yeah, they are. They're very competitive, very, very reliable, and good racing.
Yeah, it certainly is. Barry Morris, what are you doing these days?
Semi-retired, just doing a bit of concreting, so that's about all. No great hobbies.
Miss the racing of a powerboat?
Not at this age. So the younger blokes are, far better at it.
We see different generations many times over, but you'd have seen young Corey Marlin today, 16 years of age, and what he's doing on the water. His maturity is far, far beyond 16.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, that boat's going quite well, so very well.
King of the River, I'd imagine Troy Marlin would be the standout pick.
Yeah, the money's on Marlin. Go the inboards.
Okay, Barry Morris, once again, a very big thank you. Great to see you, mate. A lot of people, particularly at home, I know Sean Slippery Hughes will be watching you at home, and he travelled all around Australia with you, but I'm sure a lot of people, particularly at home, as I said, great to see you, mate. Best of health, and we'll see you around the traps.
Thank you very much, Craig.
There we go, Barry Morris, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Coming up at the start, ladies and gentlemen, flag down, we see the Millard Financial boat, the 222 Red Machine. Oh, Marcus Millard. He goes to the early lead over his good mate Chris Tucker in Villain. So both boats on the Brisbane Marine back straight. Millard leads out from Tucker. Of course, both boats are Millennium Chance hulls. Marcus works in the financial world. He's based out of Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Looks like Tucker there just had a bit of a dipsy doodle halfway between the ends out of Bundaberg. Lead in, lead out, boys. So Millard, he's gone to an unassailable lead currently. It would appear that the Villain boat not as well set up as the lead boat. Did find out this morning in discussions with Chris, he's a really good friend of ex-Formula One champ Damien McKenzie. Everyone in this neck of the woods knows the name McKenzie. We haven't seen Damo behind the race wheel for some years now. But both our competitors receiving the yellow flag and one to go. So final time out of NZ at Bundaberg, the top turn and onto the Smiling River Company's front straight. Millard makes a meal of the opposition and takes the Whitewater Marine. Checkered flag. We can hear one of the blown alcohol displacement boats idling in the pits. Probably the Fury machine of Hayden Chesser. Geez, it was good to talk to Barry Morris. Haven't seen Barry for a number of years, and great to catch up. And there was a lot of history there, of course, with Larry Martin and the Trojan crew.
Oh, so inboard A field is Who Cares, driven by Tim Windmill. Downtime with Rob Simpson driving. Home Wrecker, driven by Dave Law. Cole Sweat, with the driving being shared this weekend between Ben and Tim Cole. The Punisher, Andrew Goodhue driving that one, and Hustler with James McLaughlin behind the wheel. Out with the early lead there now. That boat's been pretty quick in this category this weekend. Meanwhile, behind him, Who Cares, Tim Windmill in second. Cole Sweat not too far away in third. Home Wrecker fourth. Downtime fifth, and Hustler in sixth at the moment. But that boat, the Punisher, Andrew Goodhue, has been pretty fast in this category this weekend as he comes down to the Smiley's group start-finish line now. Mind you, looks to have slowed right up. Just as I said, he's been quick. So that opens this race right up. So we've got a caution flag up. So the Punisher has stopped on the main straight there. As has Who Cares. So let's just, those boats seem to be both safely out of the way, so we'll just go with a caution flag at the moment. Just waiting on the call from the officer of the day, but meantime, so the Punisher and Who Cares stopped on the course. It's just a caution flag at the moment. Cole Sweat, meantime, going past the start finish line, so leading at the moment, Cole Sweat, then Home Wrecker. And Hustler and Downtime. So not sure what's happened with those two boats. Just as I was saying, the Punisher was dominating, just pulled up in the main straight. So Cole Sweat just over under half a lap to go now for another win for Cole Sweat in this group. Then Home Wrecker in second at the moment. Meantime, the tussle between Hustler and Downtime. So the checkered flag is up, and it's going to be Cole Sweat getting the win in this one. Dave Law in Home Wrecker just slowed up, but gets it going again. Locks up second place. Meanwhile, it's a tight race. Downtime and the Hustler together, but the Hustler just nudges back in front. James McLaughlin and Downtime in fourth. So once again, as in the first race in this class yesterday, Cole Sweat has got the Stephen Bradbury, two boats ahead of them broken down, and he comes in over the top to get the win.
So a father and son team sharing the duties of the coal sweat boat this weekend. Of course, Dad Benny driving yesterday and son Tim driving coal sweat today. We did see a big puff of what appeared to be white smoke from the boat Punisher, Andrew Goodhue, and the boat stopped shortly after, so hopefully that's not terminal for Andrew, because he's been the scene stealer in Inboard A this weekend. So our starters coming up in the unlimited class. We initially deemed it to be unlimited inboard, but we've had to throw in the sole remaining outboard A competitor, of course, the Parker Machine High Lift Water. So that comes out of 1, Sick Puppy out of 2, Fury out of 3, and Madness out of 4. So we've got a bit of a licorice all sorts in this race, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the 2 blown alcohol displacement boats of Troy Marlin, the big yellow Madness, and of course the red Fury of Hayden Chesser. We have the son of Troy driving Sick Puppy, the 5.2 litre machine of Corey Marlin, and our outboard, the 2.5 litre machine, the Mercury of Dave Parker. So if you haven't been to powerboat racing before or haven't seen yet the Madness and Fury machine, you're in for a hell of a treat. You watch the driving style, particularly of Troy Marlin. He's got this unbelievable throttle control where he can virtually put the backside of the boat in the water race long. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go, coming up at the start. And we have a flag down. Look at Madness on the outside. Hayden's made a lot of ground. As it's Corey on the inside in Sick Puppy. Dave Parker experiencing problems at the rear of the field, but look at Troy Marlin. Just have a look at the driving style, ladies and gentlemen. There it goes, on its bottom and up he goes. Unfortunately, Fury, Hayden Chesser, the leader of the capsule, opens up. He does have a problem. We're going to see a white with a red diagonal stripe, warning other drivers that there is a disabled boat on the course. So Troy, he moves out a little bit wider. So final time on the Brisbane Marine back straight. Troy Marlin. Not overextending the boat, just doing enough. But final time on the Smiley River Company's front straight. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Troy Marlin. And guess who comes in second? The 16-year-old Troy's son, Corey Marlin, comes in second. So there's a quinella for the Marlin family. Dave Parker still circulating on the water, should make third place. Fortunately for the Fury team, the boat has recirculated. He's been able to fire the machine. But Corey comes up on the inside of his dad. What a moment for the Marlin family. Father Troy, son Corey. What a moment for powerboat racing. On the same piece of water, they run 1 and 2. He's only 16, ladies and gentlemen. His maturity far belies his age. We certainly know Troy, along with Mum, Karina, very proud of Corey and what he's done so far. The world is Corey's oyster, believe you me.
All right, so we've got a start in our junior race here, the Junior J2, just a small field in this one. So that meat green boat at the front is Little Lucifer with Lily Theodulu driving. The white boat is Xander Law in Bad Habit, and the little junior development boat is Chase Smiley there. So that's a little beginner level boat that we have at the club for people that are just starting out in the sport, the young ones. All right, so at the present time though, so Lily in Little Lucifer is out front over Xander, but looks like he might have, as in their races all weekend, so he has eventually, she's been quick off the start, Lily, but Xander has managed to close that gap by the end, but so she looks like she's got a pretty good lead at the moment, Lily in Little Lucifer. So this one's 3 laps of the short junior course at the halfway point in this one, so just 1.5 laps to go. And the yellow flag is up, and so still Lily Theodulu in Little Lucifer well out in front. Xander, he made up some of that gap on that corner, but she's opened it up again as they come round to pass Chase in that little junior development boat there on the NZ turn up the top. And so just trying to make their way through the traffic there, and Xander has had the best run through that, and it's now Xander Law in Bad Habit out in front from Lily Theodulu in Little Lucifer. So anything can change pretty quickly, and he had a great run through that turn, Xander, and will now come around and take the checkered flag in this Junior J2 race. Okay, so it looks like we've got 6 boats out there for the Junior J3 category, and they'll be Titan, driven by Isla White, Lil Hole Shot with Fletcher Donnelly driving, Tory Jane Racing, driven by Tory Jane Wood, More Madness with Bella Smiley driving, Lost Identity, driven by Noah Cosson, and Next Gen Marine Junior, driven by Leilani Borg. Alrighty, so we're off and away in this Junior J3 boat. One of those boats might have jumped the start, but I'll let our officials take care of that, and I'll just call what I see. So at the moment there, so it is Titan out in front at the present time. Looks like Next Gen Marine Junior there, and one of the white boats, which I think will be Little Hole Shot in third, Tory Jane in fourth, and More Madness, Bella Smiley fifth. So as they come around now, so Titan and Next Gen Marine in front together. Lil Hole Shot third, Tory Jane Racing fourth, More Madness fifth, and then Noah Cosson Lost Identity in sixth. So this one, once again, 3 laps of the junior course, and still Titan out in front there. Isle of Wight, Next Gen Marine in second. Lil Hole Shot now moving up into second there, and Tory Jane Racing and Bella Smiley and More Madness close together there in fourth and fifth. So as we come round to the yellow flag now, so Titan running pretty wide on that one, which gives Next Gen Marine Junior Leilani Borg a look in, and she takes over the lead. Bella Smiley in More Madness actually crosses the line in second. Tory Jane Wood in that pink boat there in third. And then Titan, Little Hole Shot and Lost Identity in that back group now. So at the present time, with just over half a lap to go in this Junior J3 race, Leilani Borg in the Next Gen Marine Junior boat in first. Tory Jane Wood in Tory Jane Racing, the pink boat there second, and Bella Smiley in third. And the checkered flag awaits, so let's see how they come out of this corner. And it will be Next Gen Marine Junior, Leilani Borg taking first place, Tory Jane in second, Bella Smiley and More Madness third, and then it'll be Titan Isle of Wight fourth, and it looks like Little Hole Shot Fletcher Donnelly fifth, and Lost Identity Noah Cosson in sixth. So as I said before, our juniors this weekend, and in fact at most of our meets, brought to us by Extreme Marine. Thank you. Next race up is 850cc, so once these juniors are safely back into the ramp, 850cc's will be up next. So these 850cc's are off a handicap start, so which for those folks that might be new around here, that means that their start order and times is based on the earlier race today, with the theory being that they will finish a little bit closer. So going from 0 will be Warrior, and then going at 15 seconds from 0 will be Tennis Racket and Next Gen Marine, and going off 20 seconds from 0 will be Jitterbug and Supernaut. I'd say leading the way off there was Kira Eglinton in Warrior, as we mentioned, off that handicap start. So then we've got Next Gen Marine and one of those Brisbane Marine boats. I think that'd be Tennis Racket in second there, and then you've got those two faster boats, Supernaut and Jitterbug. So Supernaut making some ground on those front runners already. Meanwhile, down the front straight here, so this is 4 laps this race, by the way. That red boat Warrior with Kira Eglinton driving, coming around to complete their first of those 4 laps. Meanwhile, so that's Tennis Racket in second, and you've got Supernaut and Next Gen Marine closing that gap, and then Jitterbug back there in 5th place at the moment. So you can see that gap closing now from that handicap start, but still at the front, Kira Eglinton in Warrior up there at the moment. Tennis Racket still in second for the time being, but Next Gen Marine and Supernaut closing in fast on that second place holder. So as they come around that top turn now and head into the Smileys main straight, it is still Kira Eglinton in Warrior with the lead, but that's at the halfway mark in this one. So lap 2 of 4 just about done now, and now we've got a move in second place here, and that's going to be Supernaut now taking over the lead. Alright, so someone's having to go back around that buoy. Meanwhile at the front, so that looks like it'll be Supernaut well out in front now, and Tennis Racket Next Gen Marine overtaking Warrior as well. So Luke Birmingham in Supernaut has opened up a fairly decent lead in the front now, made up that handicap and then some. So the yellow flag is up, so once they come past the start finish line, they'll have one more lap to go in this one, and at the present time it looks like it's going to be Luke Birmingham in Supernaut with the lead. Tennis Racket, one of the Brisbane Marine boats, in second. Next Gen Marine in third. Warrior fourth. And then the other Brisbane Marine boat, Jitterbug, which had to backtrack and go around that buoy again back in fifth. So half a lap to go now for Luke Birmingham in Supernaut out front. Pretty close race at the moment, I think, between Next Gen Marine and Tennis Racket, so that might be the one to watch as they come back around to complete this last half a lap. But just as I say that, Tennis Racket opens up a bit more of a gap again on Next Gen Marine. But the checkered flag is going up now as Luke Birmingham in Supernaut heads for home. Takes the checkered flag, and it'll be Tennis Racket across the line in second for Brisbane Marine. Next Gen Marine in third. Warrior fourth, and Jitterbug in fifth.
She's almost local. She's from Brisbane. Her name is Tori Jane Wood. Tori, very good morning. The boat, it's gone sensational this weekend.
Yeah, it has, but we did have a bit of a hiccup last race.
What was that?
I broke my pedal.
You broke your pedal. Okay. Brisbane Marine, your dad's company, been a great supporter not only of yourself and the boys there out in the racing, but have been a great supporter financially of the club here.
Yeah, they have. I love the boys. They always help me out.
Okay. All right. Tell me, you're in the Formula Future boat at the moment. Have you got aspirations to move into something much bigger later on?
Hopefully, but Dad just wants to see how I go with the rest of this in my little pink boat.
Okay. Are we talking about possibly ending up in a tunnel boat sometime in the near future?
Hopefully, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. You're from, I think, North Brisbane, around the Redcliffe area. You're a very big Dolphins fan.
Fins up.
Fins up, there we go. Fins up, a very dedicated supporter of the Dolphins. We've got a little bit of racing day this afternoon, possibly podium finish for you?
I think, but I'm not going to jinx myself.
Okay. All right, anyone you'd like to thank?
My dad.
And his company?
Yes, of course, and Brisbane Marine and the boys.
And all the boys that work there. Tori Jane, very big thank you. All the best for the rest of the weekend, and hopefully you get a podium finish.
Yes, thank you very much.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Tori Jane Wood, restricted combo. Coming up, ladies and gentlemen. They've provided some of the best racing this weekend. We got the two Queensland skiffs and the two displacement boats. Eglinton in silence, I thought was going to the early lead, but here comes Tom Birmingham for all the Ford fans. This powered by a Ford 1992 Ford Fairlane engine. But Tom goes very wide indeed. He's lost the compass. So he went in first, he's come out third. Stress Leon Evans, he's moved into the lead, he's stressed, but right down the outside, here comes Cathy Eglinton in the third T-deck. But Leon has that good inside real estate. Boats come out. Eglinton just in front. The former secretary of this powerboat club, now doing a fabulous job on the water. So Cathy Eglinton in silence. She got round the outside of Stress Leon Evans. Not sure what happened to Tommy Birmingham there. Screwed and glued the last boat there of Toddy Hines. Looks like Leon hasn't given up the fight, however. He's heading both boats just coming out of Brisbane Marine into NZ at Bundaberg in the top turn. Nice corner by Eglinton. Equally as good from Evans. So once again on the Smiley group of companies front straight. Eglinton, will she hang on? She's got one lap to do it. One lap to go for Cathy Eglinton. Leon Evans in second. Tom Birmingham, he started like a rat up a drain pipe, but I don't know what happened after that because he dropped right back in third place. Screwed and glued Toddy Hines. He's one of the hard workers at one of our sponsors, of course, NZ at Bundaberg. So half a lap to go for our first two boats. Eglinton from Leon Evans in stress. Lovely piece of driving from Eglinton. And we can see the Whitewater Marine checkered flag being displayed. And congratulations going to Cathy Eglinton. In second place, Leon Evans in stress. Third will go to Tommy Birmingham. For all the Ford supporters, he's back in third. And Todd Hines, he'll take fourth. Driver of the Screwed and Glued Queensland skiff.
So our field for this 25 horsepower race is Extreme Marine Queensland, driven by Josh Chiswell. Maniac, driven by Jason Chiswell. We've got Just Winging It with Caden Sutherland driving. Eureka, driven by Katie Jenner. And Titan, being driven by Zach Satterley. Alrighty, so 25 horsepower is this group underway, and down the outside there, Zach Satterley in Titan looking good, but let's see how they come out of this turn here. So, and he is pretty quick, even though coming around the outside, Zach Satterley, that boat pretty quick, so won a number of things all over the country this season, but at the present time it looks like it is going to be Eureka, Katie Jenner. Or Just Winging It. in front. So this bunch are pretty tightly gripped coming through the turn up there down onto the main straight. So we'll get a better look at them as they come past the start-finish line for the first time. So 3 laps this race, and it's going to be Titan leading the way. Bit of rough going there for Just Winging It, I think, there, and Maniac Jason Chiswell takes advantage and moves into second place. Then you've got Katie Jenner in Eureka and Josh Chiswell in Extreme Marine. So coming around that NZ turn now, and it's going to be once again Zach Sadley in Titan pulling away from the rest of the field. And then you've got Just Winging It, Caden Sutherland in second, but just off his tail, Jason Chiswell in Maniac. Then a little bit back to Katie Jenner in Eureka and Josh Chiswell in Extreme Marine. So looks like that battle between Maniac and Just Winging It is where the action is at the present time. Zach Sadley in Titan has broken away from the rest of the field and will come past the yellow flag in a moment to let him know that he's got 1 lap to go. Meanwhile, that those 2 boats in second and third there, Maniac and Just Winging It, pretty tight, but Eureka about to join in the party there as well by the looks of it. As they go across the start-finish line, Maniac Jason Chiswell has pulled away a little bit now though, so those 2 white boats, Eureka and Just Winging It, in a battle for third now. So down the back straight there, Titan Zach Sadley has just got half a lap to go now to complete this one. Jason Chiswell in Maniac, the green and yellow boat there, is away a bit in second. Meanwhile, one of those boats, I think that was Just Winging It, didn't go through well through that turn, which leaves Eureka to try and challenge for second place there, if she can, the driver Katie Jenner. Meanwhile, coming out of the top turn into the Smileys main straight, and it'll be another checkered flag for Zach Sadley in Titan. Then we've got Jason Chiswell in Maniac second. That'll be Katie Jenner in Eureka third. Caden Sutherland Just Winging It fourth. And then Josh Chiswell in Extreme Marine in fifth.
Ladies and gentlemen, very special moment in circuit powerboat racing history. As a lot of you know, this weekend is the last round ever of the Trojan Trophy, in memory of the late, great Larry Martin. He was unfortunately killed at this venue in 2004, 20 years ago. And this, as I said, will be the last round. We've got a lot of past and present drivers, past and present winners of the Trojan Trophy. We just thought we'd get the spokesman, and it was a really great mate of Larry's back in the day and crew member, Laurie Canduso, to say a few words. Laurie, it's tough times, but we need to move on. But we really need to honour this man.
Oh, definitely, Craig. It's so humbling to see, so many past drivers, spectators that we haven't seen for years and years just turn up to this one event. So yeah, it's really special. Thanks everybody for turning up, and let's get it on.
Let's get it on. The Trojan has been. We spoke to Barry Maros not long ago, and he was saying back in the early days, back in this, back in that, and it's some of these people have travelled hours and hours just to get here to support the final Trojan, support Carol. It means a lot to a lot of people, not just the people within the Trojan.
Oh, most definitely, Craig. There's we've got 2 boats from Adelaide. Adelaide to here is about 24-hour drive, so that's a fair bit of commitment just to come up for a race. So These guys have been doing it. We started here in 2005. Was the first Trojan here in the old Bundy Thunder days. When Bundy Thunder ceased, 2013, we started a series. We've taken it to 4 states in Australia. We've been to 10 different clubs all around the country, and I couldn't tell you how many boats that have actually supported us, but it'd have to be at least 50.
Yeah. And we've got someone pretty special here. She can hold my hand. Okay. Carol Martin, this is it.
The last hurrah, eh?
Last hurrah. We want to make it special. We've got 5 drivers out there that want to put their name to this trophy, want to put their name to this last race. It's been a special time. Larry'd be looking down. I'm certain he'd be saying, how bloody good's this?
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'll be saying out there. Who knows with Larry. But no, it's already been really special. The last 20 years has been special. So proud of Laurie and the rest of the Trojan crew to be able to keep this going for 20 years. It's absolutely amazing. And to be here for the last one is just great.
Look, on behalf of everyone here and everyone watching on Wide Bay ITV at home, well done, Carol. You've got a lot of support out there, Laurie, Brucey Gardner, all the families. They've kept this going. And as I just said, Larry would be looking down and be so bloody pleased, mate.
Yep. This boat racing community is awesome, and wouldn't have been here, wouldn't have known all these people without him, so I'm just really, it's great.
Carol, thank you. Laurie, one last word, mate.
Start your engines.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Mr. Laurie Can Do So, and this is Carol Martin. Thank you. Last ever, ladies and gentlemen, race for the Trojan. Just remember where you are, what day it is. We've got 5 of the best 6 litre, well, beg your pardon, we've got 4 6 litres and one of the best, if not the best 5 litre on the course also in Corey Marlin. Strap yourselves in. As legendary commentator Bruce McAvaney, he'd be saying, Craig, this is special. Very special indeed. Corey Marlin, has he got a problem? No, he's fired the sick puppy 5 litre. He comes out of pole position 1 here. He's going to make it very interesting. We'll wait till Corey gets up to the top end of the course. We can hear our officer of the day, Johnny French. He's speaking with our course boat. We'll wait for these rollers to disappear off the course. John will decide when water conditions are perfect. He will then radio into our start boat to bring all 5 competitors down. As soon as that happens, you'll see the blue flag replaced by the white, and our start boat will bring our 5 contestants down the Smiley Group of Companies front straight. Once again, a very big thank you to Troy Smiley and his wonderful organisation. You were pestering me not too long ago, Dave Carroll. When's the last of the Trojan on? I think you know what's on now. A very big night planned for the Sugarland Tavern tonight. A lot of people reserving their place tonight at the Sugarland. A lot of history. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Final ever race for the Trojan. Who's it going to be for 2024? And we have a flag down. Go! We only have 4 boats on the course, unfortunately, so Evan Reuter's out, but Clark jumps out. It's an early lead. Marlin on the inside, Rarity right round the outside. Oh, look at Marlin on the inside of Clark. Wowee! But Clark from South Australia just have a Marlin on the outside. Brendan Mason in Impulse charging down the outside. Rarity back and forth. But Clark on the inside, Marlin on the outside, Impulse. Brendan Mason, wowee, coming up to complete 1 lap. 2 to go, ladies and gentlemen. James Clark. He's got probably about 10 boats over. Corey Marlin on the outside. Brendan Mason. Brendan right round the outside of the little 5-litre. So Brendan sends off in search of James Clark, but he needs to be quite a bit closer. Coming out of Brisbane Marine. James Clark once again coming out of NZ at Bundaberg. James Clark on the Smiley River coming front straight. He's extended that lead over Mason. Rarity moves into third. Unfortunately, Marlin has stopped. Marlin. No, he's got the boat recirculating again. Final time on our Brisbane Marine back straight. James Clark. Brendan Mason trying ever so hard. Steve Rarity back in third. But final time, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the boy all the way from Adelaide, South Australia. James Clark taking the last ever Trojan Trophy race 2024. Second place going to Brendan Mason. Third to Steve Rarity. Fourth home. Corey Marlin. So what a wonderful race we had there, ladies and gentlemen. Final ever race for the Trojan. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, he's celebrating. Warm those hands, show your appreciation, not only for James, but for Brendan, Steve, and Corey also. What a race, our final Trojan ever. And we're going to find a winner very shortly of the Trojan Trophy for 2024.
Thanks, Craig, and congratulations once again to James on a great drive to win that final Trojan Trophy race. Meanwhile, out on the course at the moment, our outboard sea field is out there and about to come down for a start. So in this one, I think so we've got Tennessee Titan with Ruben White driving, Sonic driven by David Cassell, Fat Chance with Scott Carandrews driving, Bundy On making his way up now with Dean McLaughlin driving, and Blue Balls driven by Dan Gamble. This outboard sea race is sponsored by Whitewater Marine, so thanks to the White family and their team for their support this weekend once again as well. So after this race, as we said, we will have a lunch break, and during the lunch break, the fastest boats over the weekend so far will be invited to vie for the title of NZ King of the River, and that race will be straight after lunch. So on this Fielders Away in this outboard sea race and coming out of the NZ turn for the first time. So it's going to be Sonic this time with the early lead from Blue Balls, then Fat Chance, Tennessee Titan, and then Bundy on. So Sonic with the early advantage in this one. Be 3 laps this race for outboard sea, but tight tussle there at the moment in second place between Fat Chance and Blue Balls. So heading down now to complete lap 1 of 3 on the Smileys Group main straight. So it is still Sonic in the lead with David Cassell driving, Fat Chance in second, but Blue Balls Dan Gamble just off the bow there. Meanwhile, coming over the line now is Bundy on with Dean McLaughlin. So at the halfway mark now for Sonic, David Cassell, 1.5 laps to go. Still a pretty tight race there between Fat Chance and Blue Balls, but as I say that, just Fat Chance opening up a little bit of a gap there now. Coming through the top turn now, about to come down for the home straight to complete lap 2 of 3. It is David Cassell in Sonic, so far showing a clean pair of heels in this race to the rest of the field, but that race between second and third is still pretty tight between Fat Chance and Blue Balls. Meanwhile, Bundy on up there on that corner, looked a bit slow but looks to be on his way again now, and then Tennessee Titan Reuben White sitting back there in 5th place. So Sonic, David Cassell, half a lap to go now, and still looking pretty comfortable out in first place. Fat Chance moving away now to be a clear second from Blue Balls in third, and then it's still some ways back to the other 2 boats, Bundy on and Tennessee Titan. Coming out of the turn now, and the checkered flag will be up, and it'll be David Cassell in Sonic getting the win in this one. Scott Carandrews in Fat Chance second. Dan Gamble in Blue Balls in third. And then it will be Dean McLaughlin in Bundy on and Reuben White in Tennessee Titan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, particularly those at home on Wide Bay ITV. We're here with someone very special and a boat that's very special, of course, the Liberty boat that was formerly driven by the late great Brian McCosker. Brian having that terrible accident at the Easter Spectacular at Taree in 2010. A lot of restoration went on, you know, with the McGrath family. A lot of people from the former Liberty crew and the like to what we've got now. Mark Hansen and his beautiful partner Sonia Smith regularly take this boat to other major powerboat races, take it to car shows, a lot of kids fundraisers, that kind of thing, so they take it all around Australia. And one of those guys, we're talking about Mark Hansen, his dad Ross was part of that crew also. Ross, welcome to Sandy Hook right here in Bundaberg. Great to have you here, mate. You were a large part of the crew with Brian McCosker. He was, in the day, he was known as the Peter Brock of circuit powerboat racing. He won just about every major trophy. I think the biggest one was the EC Griffith Cup. But he had that terrible accident in 2010. let us know, afterwards, talk about the restoration, and then we'll do a final walk around the boat, and you can just let us know what did it all entail.
Well, the boat itself, an 18-foot 6 child's play, was probably destroyed, for want of a better word for it then. A lot of Brian's best mates got together, looked at it and said, I suppose we can fix this. And I know one fella who really financed the whole thing, Kev McGrath Meats at Taree, said, yeah, we can do this. Got into it and probably put at least $50,000 into the restoration to bring it back to what we see today here. So the boat's here in its former glory, I suppose we'll say there. On behalf of the McCosker family, Ros McCosker's probably even watching this now, I certainly hope so. So here we have Liberty here for everybody's enjoyment. So the boat itself, once again, I'll say an 18-foot 6 child's play, and with the engine at the rear here, based on an Oldsmobile, 430 cubic inches of engine, developing 1900 horsepower. And I know Brian used to kid around and say, oh yeah, we've got about 1300 horses or so, but no, there's a 1271 supercharger on top, putting 32 pound of boost into that engine. On top of that small block hiding under there, the McCoy heads Brian designed and machined up himself. Twin spark plugs there being fired by twin magnetos at the front, and once again saying 1900 horsepower coming out of it. So this boat here, the iconic Liberty, back to its former glory and here for everybody's enjoyment. So back to you, Craig. Thank you.
All right, thanks indeed, Roscoe. Wonderful, mate. Wonderful summation. And, the boat, with the accident, it was... you brought it back to its former glory, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in the team that, takes great pride in, and I heard you mention Ros, hopefully she's watching this and maybe a tear in the eye, but this is, we're looking at the photos here, in memory of Brian McCosker, a legend on and off the water. We often heard of stories where there'd be a mad thrash trying to get things fixed on the motor, and a young kid would walk up for an autograph and he'd just stop whatever he was doing, and that took pride of place with him.
Yeah, he certainly would. Brian had stopped to talk to anybody, or his mate had come over, or even virtually unknown fella say, Brian, I've got troubles with this item here, can you help me out? I'm going to be racing in 4 races time. He said, yeah, okay mate, we'll come over. He'll say, you guys keep working here and get something sorted out. He'd come over to get a part or two. How are we going? Nearly done, mate. And off he'd go again to get this person going. Come back and say, right, how's things going? Yeah, we've got that resolved, it's all ready to go. He said, okay, we're in the next race, let's go racing. And off he'd go. And not to mention 2007 world champion, when the Americans came over and they said, well, we're going to kick your Aussie asses. We're really going to get on there. And Brian said, nah, that's not going to happen. And as you probably all appreciate now, he blitzed them, absolutely blitzed them with this setup here. This is all the original setup, what we're looking at. And off they went, 2007 world champion. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was at that meeting, Roscoe, and I can still remember the Aussie flag and the checkers went out to Brian, and he went along the bank there, and the whole crowd just got up as one. And the Yanks weren't to be seen anywhere, but the Aussies, they internally loved him. He was a great supporter of a lot of clubs around Australia. He was based out of Tamworth, so the ute and the truck did a lot of Ks. And you talk about other drivers over there. We can see the great Ricky Bakewell over there. Those two guys had some wonderful races all around Australia.
They certainly did, all around Australia indeed. They're all fantastic races, and the memory lives on here with Liberty.
All right, Roscoe, thanks for your time, mate. Wonderful summation. Hope everyone here just come and spend a couple of minutes with this boat, because it is absolutely iconic. I do remember it as being Brian was the Peter Brock of our sport, what Brocky was to road racing. We've got a ton of caps here, $15 each, Liberty caps. So come down and have your photo with this boat. Sit in the boat, as Roscoe just said. lots of great photos. I'm sure there'll be a lot of big kids that'd like to sit in the driver's seat as well. But on behalf of everyone, to you, Roscoe, thank you very much, mate. To your son, Mark, thank you very much, and his beautiful partner Sonia, for what you do for everyone, and keeping a bit of that history going for us. So thanks, mate. Thanks for your time. Hopefully everyone at viewing on White Bay TV enjoyed your summation. Representing the Raymond Terrace Aquatic Club, Erastus Steve Rarity, Troy Marlin in Madness, the Yellow Beast, Homewrecker Dave Law, the local boy, Sick Puppy, Troy Marlin, Hayden Chesser in Fury, and James Clark in Toughen Up. The 2024 Dominic McLaughlin King of the River. What a field we've got, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Fasten your seatbelts, hang on to your hats. We can see the big rooster tail already out of the back of Madness. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Flag is down. And Marlin goes to an early lead. Over on the outside, he's Corey. James Clark in third. Fury on the inside. Made up good ground. So James Clark in second. But Fury goes back on the inside. On the inside of James Clark. Rarity back in fourth. Corey Marlin in sixth, Puppy, followed by Homewrecker Dave Law. On the Smiley group of companies front straight. Troy Marlin, he's cleared out. James Clark, really good corner. He's moved into second. Will he challenge Marlin? Steve Rarity, a really good third placing. Corey Marlin back to fourth. Homewrecker fifth and Fury tailing the field. So the final over 4 laps. So Marlin on the Brisbane Marine back straight once again. I tell you what, the young fella from South Australia, he hasn't given up. The Fury machine sounding terrible as it passed us in. 1 lap to go for Troy Marlin in Madness. James Clark, a great drive in second place in Tovenham. Steve Rarity, a wonderful drive also in third. Corey Marlin, the 16-year-old, he's going to make peace with Rarity very shortly. Unfortunately, Fury is broken down on the back straight. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the final time and taking the Whitewater Marine checkered flag, Troy Marlin. Second place, James Clark. In Taberner, third to Stevie Rarity for the Raymond Terrace Aquatic Club. Corey Marlin in sick puppy. Homewrecker just coming onto the front straight. Unfortunately for followers of Fury, Hayden breaking down in the back straight. Ladies and gentlemen, as Troy comes past us, warm those hands. He's coming in very, very close to the bank. Show your appreciation. A big effort bringing the whole family, the transporter up from the Gold Coast. What a wonderful team, what a wonderful driver. Troy Marlin, ladies and gentlemen. A tremendous second place going to James Clark in Tavernup. Third going to Steve Rarity, driver of Rastus. I tell you what, Stevie Rarity will be happy, as will the 16-year-old Corey Marlin. Not too many fathers and sons have contested this race, and well done to the local favourite Dave Law and Homewrecker. Fury, unfortunately, still down the back straight, broken down. Terrible weekend for Hato. But ladies and gentlemen, 2024, Dominic McLaughlin going to Troy Marlin over James Clark, over Steve Rarity in third place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, down here with a very, very happy Steve Rarity. He came home in third place there. He's been one of our big competitors, also running for the Trojan this year. Steve, great result for the Rastus team, mate. You've come all the way from the Raymond Terrace Aquatic Club. This boat is starting to show some really good results.
Yeah, mate, it's the little girl's going really well. It's just maybe I'm getting a little better. But no, I'd like to thank the whole crew, you know, coming here, just supporting me, my family, my wife, obviously, down there. But, mate, it's unreal. Great club, great people, awesome racing.
How was your start?
The start, yeah, it was okay. I was just sort of looking in that Fury and I thought, oh, there's a big yellow jigger that's meant to come up beside me somewhere. But, yeah, he was there and they just took off. Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
The yellow boat's imposing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. As I say, there's a bloke that's sitting in it.
The young James Clark, he's a wonderful young fella, and he must be great to race against as well.
Mate, I haven't really known James that much, but since we've been doing this Trojan series, you know, we've got to get to know him. Great guy, great family, and mate, I had a ball. I had an absolute ball.
And I'm quite sure our good mate at the Raymond Terrace Aquatic Club, Warwick Lang, would say, go the Terrace.
Yeah, go the Terrace. We're having a ball. Thank you.
All the best, Steve.
Cheers.
If we could just take a moment there, no more kisses for Dave Law, local favourite here, Dave. Homewrecker, great job, mate, but geez, you had some competition.
Yeah, it was rough out there being the little of the boat of the class, but the fellow driver's done an unreal job. Definitely hard at the back with all the waves, but I feel I've done my best, and hopefully the crowd enjoyed it.
It must be a huge thrill to be invited into the race.
100%. Actually, when we were speaking in the pits about it, I was quite nervous, but at the end of the day, I thought I don't mind where I come. I'm proud to say that I've done it, King of the River.
And of course, being a local guy here makes it all the more important.
Yeah, bragging rights for years, mate. That's right. Thanks very much.
There we go, Dave Law. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
There we go, Davey Law, driver of Homewrecker, the local hope in the King of the River, the Dominic McLaughlin King of the River.
Thanks, Craig. So meanwhile, back on the water, we're underway with racing again. 25 horsepowers going around now, as we see, and as we come through that first turn there. So that looks like it's going to be Steph Cooper in Siren out in front. Peter Bart's in Mental Health second. Kamikaze third. More time out. then the Greenboat Slingshot and Coop Science Racing in 5th at the present time. So 25 horsepower heading around at the moment. All close together but kind of evenly spaced out. So it's 3 laps this race of 25 horsepower. Okay, so come across the start-finish line. So it's still Steph Cooper in Siren in front. Peter Bart's in Mental Health and Kamikaze Ben Ashby pretty tight there. In fact, going over the line together. Scott Trainer in More Time Out just back there, and Slingshot and Coop Science Racing. So at the front of the field there, as they come through that turn, Kamikaze has made up a fair bit on Siren there at the moment. So they've both pulled away from the 3rd place runner, Mental Health. So let's just see how that develops there. But at the moment, it is still Steph Cooper in Siren, just in front of Ben Ashby in Kamikaze. Peter Bart's in Mental Health hanging back in 3rd. Scott Trainer, More Time Out, 4th. Slingshot in 5th and Coop Science Racing in 6th. So we're going to come past the yellow flag when they come through the start-finish line now. So there'll be 1 lap left after this. And as they do that, so it looks from here as though Kamikaze, Ben Ashby, momentarily challenging for that lead from Steph Cooper in Siren, but not quite close enough just yet. Meanwhile, Peter Bart's in Mental Health back there in 3rd, not too far away. And as they come around that NZ corner, it is Ben Ashby in Kamikaze who comes out in front. Steph Cooper will be looking to try and regain that lead back down the straight. But Ben Ashby in Kamikaze, though, has now come into the lead. So still Peter Bart's in 3rd. The other positions unchanged at this point in time. So the battle in this race so far is for 1st place. So it'll all depend on how they both come through this turn here. So obviously Kamikaze, good run through that last one and looks to be pretty clean out of there as well. So as they head for home, Ben Ashby in Kamikaze looks to have actually got the better of that turn again and is going to take the checkered flag from Steph Cooper in Siren. Peter Bart's in Mental Health. Scott Trainer in More Time Out. Hugo Brackmanis in Slingshot. And then Steve Cooper in Coop Science Racing. So our inboard B field heading down now. So we've got Let It Ride, Send It, Hot Lemon and Irritation in this one. And so they're all pretty ascendant. And Hot Lemon pretty even across the line there, but as they come out of that first NZ turn, so once again it will be Send It, Steve Mallett leading the way off, but no sooner do I say that than Rod Peterson and Hot Lemon takes over the lead. Let It Ride sitting back there in 4th, and then Irritation, 3rd rather, and Irritation in 4th. So around that top turn now, heading into the Smiley Straight for the first of the 3 laps to be completed. So not much between those two boats, but it is Hot Lemon at the present time that has got the advantage. Send It in 2nd, but Let It Ride sitting back there in 3rd, and Irritation in 4th. So we're pretty evenly spaced out now at this stage, and we're at the halfway mark as they go halfway down that back straight. So Hot Lemon definitely opening up a very big lead now. Send It in 2nd, Let It Ride, whether he can challenge for that 2nd place or not. heading for home now. So the yellow flag is up for Hot Lemon. So looking very, very comfortable out in front in this one. Send It back there in second. If there's going to be a challenge, it'll be between Send It and Let It Ride, looming up there in third place. Meanwhile, Irritation back there in fourth. So just half a lap to go now for Hot Lemon to seal this one up. Meanwhile, coming out of that NZ turn, Let It Ride has gained significantly on Send It, who puts the foot down and breaks away once again. And then meanwhile, heading down the Smiley Straight and heading for a checkered flag is Hot Lemon. This could be closer than we thought, folks. So Let It Ride coming down the outside over Send It. It's going to be Let It Ride. And it's going to Let It Ride. Just sneaking home by half a boat length from where I am over Send It. And then Irritation.
Outboard B coming up, only two competitors, the two Millennium Chance hull boats. The Villain boat on the inside, of course, Chris Tucker. The boat on the outside, Millard Financial. That's Marcus Millard. So both boats heading into the NZ at Bundaberg bottom turn. Millard going very wide. Look at the rooster tails coming from these two Millennium Chance hull boats. But Millard starting to show his superiority. Gunnel to gunnel down the Brisbane Marine back straight. Look at this, the NZ at Bundaberg. Top turn. Tucker's come back on the inside. So once again, Chris Tucker could be this the first win over his good mate Marcus Millard for the weekend. Millard might be out there foxing a little bit, I think. All right, ladies and gentlemen, final time. We can see the Whitewater Marine checkered flag being hoisted. Who's it going to go to? Tucker or Millard? And it's going to be Tucker takes a win. Tucker in Villain beats Millard in Millard Financial. That is Outboard B for the weekend.
All right, so inboard A is out there at the present time. So in this field. All right, so Making up our inboard A field, thanks to Whitewater Marine, is Who Cares, Tim Windmill, Downtime, Rob Simpson, Home Wrecker, Dave Law, Cole Sweat, driven by Ben and Tim Cole this weekend. The Punisher is out, and then we've got Hustler, driven by James McLaughlin. Front there, Home Wrecker and Cole Sweat with the early lead, and as they come out of that first NZ turn, so it's a Home Wrecker off and Cole Sweat back in second. Meanwhile, Downtime is in third, not too far away, and Hustler back in fourth. So as they come around the top turn to complete the first of 3 laps, so Dave Law, Home Wrecker, heading for the start-finish line now to complete lap 1 of 3 this time. And Cole Sweat just off in second there. And the back two, Downtime and Hustler. So at the halfway point, Dave Law in Home Wrecker with a pretty handy lead over Cole Sweat, who's pushing hard down that back straight to try and stay with him. Meanwhile, Downtime and Hustler a little bit off the pace of the top 2 at the present time. So yellow flag is up for Dave Law in Home Wrecker, so he'll have 1 lap to go in just a moment. Meanwhile, Cole Sweat is a little way off, but close enough. Out of that turn, so Dave Law in Home Wrecker with a pretty emphatic lead now over Cole Sweat. And in fact, Cole Sweat, that boat looks to have slowed right up. And it's the checkered flag in this inboard A race for Dave Law, Home Wrecker. Cole Sweat, second. Downtime and Hustler.
So Spicer racing just out to for some hot laps on the water. We're going to have 2 contestants. Of course, Dave Parker just pulled up back at the ramp, so a bit of test time for Peter and the Brisbane Marine Machine. Of course, just to let everyone know, at Wide Bay ITV and people here at the venue, once Peter's left the course, we've got 2 more races for the kids, and that will conclude our 2-day carnival here at Sandy Hook. Water conditions just about perfect. And even maybe Gary Dry behind the wheel. Both just about to receive the yellow flag. One more to go for Gary Dry, or Peter's. I think it's Gary Dry in the capsule now. So one half a lap for Gary Dyer. They're running for Brisbane Marine. On the Brisbane Marine back straight, one of our great sponsors here this weekend. As I said, we've got 2 races for our Formula Futures coming up, and that will conclude our 2 days of racing here at Sandy Hook at beautiful Branyan. So Gary Dry there accepting the Whitewater Marine checkered flag. So that is the end of senior action for the weekend. And young Chase Smiley back in 3rd place. We've seen this scenario all weekend, ladies and gents. Lily's been out in front, right near the end of the race. Xander has hunted Lily down and charged for the inside. So here comes Xander Law. A bit closer this time round. I would say Lily is sick of the side of Xander at the moment. She's got to just keep in a little bit tighter. Now that's a lot better. That's a lot better. Ah, see, exactly. So a much better corner from Lily. Xander went in really hard and he spun the boat. So Lily responsible for that mistake by just staying a little bit closer to those pin turns. Much, much better. Yep, there we go. Much better corner from Lily. She'll learn a lot from that. So checkered flag going for the Whitewater Marine. Checkered flag going to Lily Theodulu over Xander Law in Bad Habits and the little development boat there of Chase Smiley. Just got our J2s coming up. We'll just bother him for a quick minute. Johnny French, our officer of the day. Mate, thanks for all you've done. It hasn't been too bad, your job?
No, it's been really enjoyable. This is the best seat in the whole house. You get to see all the action. It's been a really good weekend. Really competitive racing. A couple of incidents, but no, very enjoyable, I think.
You haven't had to rule on too much?
No, not too much. Find most of the people pretty honest around here, so it's good, safe racing and honest racing, which is good.
And the best part about it, you know, like yesterday we had 2 young fellas going to hospital. They were no sooner back and they had x-rays, everything was good, and yeah, so that was a good result for us. But yeah, mate, when we talk to you and we find out you've had very little to do, we're really happy about that.
Yeah, so am I. I just enjoy watching the racing and just the interaction with people afterwards. Looking for a beer tonight if anyone's listening.
There we go, Johnny French, officer of the day, done a wonderful job once again with the Bundaberg Powerboat Club.
Alrighty, so last race for the weekend. Our juniors are about to head around now and they're off to a start. And let's just see, get them around the first corner there and see how things are looking. All right, so coming out of there, looks like it's going to be Lost Identity. Noah Cosson with the lead from Little Hole Shot. Fletcher Donnelly there. Then you've got Tori Jane Wood in the Tori Jane Racing boat, the pink one. In the yellow boat there is More Madness, Bella Smiley. And then you've got Titan with Isla White and Next Gen Marine Junior, Leilani Borg. So they're coming around now to complete lap 1 of 3. And it's going to be Lost Identity, Noah Cosson crossing first, then Tori Jane Wood has taken over second, Lil Holshot still back in third, and then More Madness, Bella Smiley in fourth at the moment, then a little way back to Titan and Next Gen Marine Junior. So it looks like a bit of bad luck there for Noah on that corner there in Lost Identity. He's recovered now, but not before Tori Jane takes over the lead in the Tori Jane Racing boat. Little way back now to Little Hole Shot, but close enough if he needs to be. And coming through that corner there again, Noah in Lost Identity and Tori Jane both went a bit too narrow inside the buoy, so everyone's had to slow up, and they're back underway now, but there's 4 of them nearly going across the line together. So on the inside there, Noah Cosson in Lost Identity still in first place, Tori Jane in second, Bella Smiley in More Madness third, and Little Hole Shot on the outside in fourth. So as they come around now, they've just got a little over half a lap to go now. So Little Hole Shot has broken away, and so Noah's got a clear lead now. Tori Jane clearly in second. Bella Smiley has moved up to third in the yellow boat, More Madness. Little Hole Shot and Next Gen Marine almost together there in fourth and fifth. So taking the checkered flag, it'll be Noah Cosson in Lost Identity. Tori Jane Wood in second in Tori Jane Racing. Bella Smiley, More Madness in third. It's going to be Next Gen Marine Junior, Leilani Borg in fifth. Little Hole Shot, Fletcher Donnelly. Then Titan with Isla White. Okay, so just as our juniors are coming back in, and that concludes racing, just want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors who've supported the club either financially or by providing in-kind goods and services over the weekend, and they've been Happily Ever After Creations, Blue Bin Service, Sugarland Tavern, Munn's Plumbing and Munn's Homes, Kenworth, Autobahn, Lincom Group, Roebuck, Kira's Creations, BCF, Wessel Petroleum, Sender, Daisy's Combi Coffee, Bundaberg Regional Council, Hinkler Lions Club, Brothers Sports Club, Handy Hire, Wilson's Industrial Sales, Signmax, Bridgestone Service Centres, Oz Propellers, ASEP Aircraft Spares, Extreme Marine, JMac Roofing, Coop Science Racing, Whitewater Marine, Brisbane Marine, and our 2 major sponsors for the weekend. Thanks very much to NZ Bundaberg and to Smiley's Group.
Well, Dave Wise, it's been a wonderful weekend. We had a fair bit of attrition today, unfortunately, but the 2 days here, the Rum City Classic for 2024, it's all over for another year, mate.
Yes, mate, pretty good. At least the rain and the wind held off, and we did manage to get in the 2 full days of racing. As you mentioned, a little bit of attrition over the weekend, but thankfully, I mean, we did have that little bit of a mishap with the juniors there yesterday. Thankfully, both those guys okay, and hopefully see them back here in racing in October.
Yeah, let's hope and see that. Hey, the Dominic McLaughlin for 2024, what a statement by the big yellow beast of madness, Troy Marlin, sensational. James Clark, great in second, as was Rasta, Stevie Rarity in third.
Yeah, what a treat for us here too, though. So we don't some of those guys from down south coming up here this weekend. So we don't usually get to see them in action here at Sandy Hook. But mate, that yellow boat, that just blows my mind.
Next level, mate. That's look. There's a lot of people that walk away and saying that's just not possible to do those speeds, but Troy does them. And as we saw with his young son this weekend in some of those unlimited races, and also the Trojan. His young son, 16 years of age, what he's doing already, the sky's the limit. Speaking of the Trojan, mate, we will know the results officially later on at the Sugarland Tavern. The guys over the series have got to drop their 3 worst races, so we'll find out the results. But it's looking probably pretty good for James Clark there in Tough Enough. He was superb today.
Yeah, and that last run, that was epic as well, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so, the final ever Trojan for 2024. I'm sure Larry would be looking down and he'd be smiling and saying, how good's that? But we'll put the cue in the rack now and we'll move on. But we've got a big night at the Sugarland Tavern in celebration of Larry and the Trojan tonight and a handout of trophies. Some of you can come up here, Dave, and we don't see a lot of the boats south. It's mainly around this region, but some of the 850 racing 25s has been great the weekend.
Yeah, it always is here, mate. These those categories that a lot of people, if they're not familiar with the sport, of course they come out to see the big loud V8s and the quick formula boats getting around. But some of the racing in those categories like 25 horsepower and 850, every single time we have a meeting here at the Bundaberg Powerboat Club, those categories always put on great racing. It's always close, and it's never any one boat that always dominates. So you might get one that dominates over the weekend, but next time you come back it'll be someone else who's done a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of testing, and it'll be their weekend. So always super competitive in those classes as well.
Yeah, certainly right, mate. Let's not forget, our formative futures. One of the drivers, I forget who it was, they really highlighted, I think it was James Clark, he actually said, this is how I've come through. Troy Marlin, he ran through all the names. That's where they have all started their careers. So we saw some wonderful young talent out on the water today. Great to see a lot of young ladies getting involved now. We spoke with Courtney and Shelby Sonner yesterday, and they're now in their mid-20s, both of them, and they started off here, doing this kind of stuff. So, but look, it's been a fabulous weekend. Great support from our sponsors, the Smileys Group. Wow, I got to meet Troy on Friday. What an impressive family they are. They've thrown their heart and soul behind this club, thrown a lot of money at the club, which is great. NZ here, right here in Bundaberg, Rod Peterson, Toddy Hines, who works with him, and they've been wonderful. Brisbane Marine, Troy Wood, thrown a whole heap of weight and support behind the club. So this club is doing outstandingly well. A lot of great volunteers here, Dave, and let's hope to keep it going.
Yeah, so I think with anything, if you can, whether it's this or anything else, if you can present it professionally, then the people will come, and that's really shown with the work that's been put in, especially behind the scenes. You've got committee members there that are putting in lots and lots of effort to make sure that every meeting is well organised, which then for guys like me who just rock up on the day, if everything's been done in the lead up, that makes my job easy in terms of being able to talk about what's going on and so forth. But and then you've got all your support as well, guys like the local SES, and it really is a whole community effort, and you can see the results here.
Yeah, and I think that's enough for us, Dave. On behalf of everyone here, the Bundy Powerboat Club, Wayne Montgomery, Kirsten Clements, outstanding. Her able support up here, Emma. They've been wonderful to you and I this weekend, provided us with all the up-to-date information. Mate, it's been great working with you once again. I love my time in Bundaberg. This would have to be probably my favourite, if not second favourite venue around Australia. It's been great working with you again, mate. So once again, a very big thank you.
And thanks, Craig, and just hopefully this time next year, because we always talk about state of origin, but when we get together once a year, but I've deliberately avoided that topic this year, and but hopefully we'll be okay to talk about it again next year. But meanwhile, though, speaking of winners, I've probably got a couple of other jobs too, little jobs like announcing raffle winners, that sort of thing, but you can put your feet up and have a beer.
Yeah, thanks indeed. So on behalf of Dave Wise, my fellow commentator, Craig Lynch my name, we've enjoyed your company and we certainly hope you've enjoyed ours. A very good afternoon everyone. Presentation possibly within the next hour on the bottom rung of the clubhouse, and of course please join us at the Sugarland Tavern tonight for the big end of an era for the Trojan, for the Larry Martin, and a good night's going to be had by all. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Drive safely and hope to see you at the Sugarland tonight.
Thanks, Craig.